When a guy gets ghosted or rejected by a girl, it can leave him frustrated and defeated. I have been rejected more times than I would like to admit, and I've learned that going full caveman instantly turns the situation around. I want to explain what I mean by that in this video and why this is the best course of action to take. The first thing that needs to be understood is the mentality of the girl who just rejected or ghosted the guy. So the girl rejected the guy because she felt like it, because her emotions told her to in that moment. This could be because he did something unattractive. It could be because he never created attraction in the first place and she got bored of him. Or it could be because of some external circumstance that has nothing to do with him. Maybe she's married. Okay, whatever the reason that she rejected him is because she felt like it. Her emotions told her to. All right, so now what does he do? What can you do now? Should he logically convince the girl to like him? Maybe create a PowerPoint presentation listing all of the reasons that he would be a suitable partner. Maybe write an essay with counter rebuttals. Okay, none of these things are gonna work. You can't logically, convince a girl to feel positive emotions for you, right? It would be sort of like if you didn't like drinking tequila and I was like, you know what, dude, I don't care. Take some tequila shots. Just take them, I don't care. You would be like, fuck you, dude, I don't wanna take your tequila shots, right? So you can't force someone to feel positive emotions for something. All right, so what else can you do? Maybe she just needs to know how special she is for him. Maybe he needs to just write her a few paragraphs professing his love and how amazing she is, how she's the shining star of his universe. Okay, well that probably won't work either, right? Because he's being needy. It's showing negative social proof. If he's being that needy, it probably shows that no other girls like him, and so that's negative social proof. Meaning it will create negative attraction. The girl is actually going to be revolted by that strategy. All right, so when you're pursuing a girl that doesn't have positive emotions for you, you're fighting an uphill battle. And if you do this for a long, prolonged period of time, it will roughly damage your self-esteem and it's going to affect you in other areas of your life. The best way to combat getting rejected is preemptive. It's before getting rejected. It's like, yeah, I could fix my car engine once it explodes, or I could change the oil on time. I could do the preventative maintenance, and then I have to worry less about car problems in the future. But of course, just like a car in dating, there are going to be car problems, inevitably. No matter how good you are, no matter how much you take care of your car. All right, so not every single girl is going to want to have your baby. Some of them should though. Okay, it's sort of like Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball athletes, they get paid millions of dollars to hit the ball less than a third of the time, right? They don't need to hit the ball 10 out of 10 times. But if they're hitting the ball 0 out of 10 times, then there's a problem with their swing, right? So if a guy is getting rejected 10 out of 10 times, there's something wrong with his swing. And he would need to figure out what he's doing wrong and what to do right to attract women. And it can really help to have a coach on the outside to diagnose what's going wrong. You know, a lot of guys who come to work with me, they have, issues with their communication, with their mindset. And it's very obvious to me what needs to be fixed, but to the guy, he just has no clue. He's been repeating the same thing for years and years and getting the same results. But a lot of times when a guy hops on a call with me, it's like 10 minutes and I can clearly see what he needs to fix and then we fix it. Okay, but what do you actually do after a girl ghosts you? And this is where a lot of guys crumble, right? Because they have a good conversation with a girl, maybe they match with a girl on Tinder, they chat with her for a little while. Then what they do is they start fantasizing about their future with the girl. They're like, oh man, this chick is hot. I'm finally getting some dating success. Wow, this is amazing. And then what happens? The girl ghosts him, or they're in a conversation, the girl rejects him. And then they get depressed, and then they give up. Okay, I had this one client in particular who I'm gonna keep confidential, of course, but when he started working with me, he told me this story about a girl he went on one first date with. And then after this first date, the girl ghosted him, and he was dejected. He was depressed for months over this one girl who he went on one first date with. And by the time he started talking to me, he was still worried about that girl. He was still trying to figure out how to win over that girl who he went on one date with. Okay, so why did this happen? Why was he so depressed that this one girl ghosted him? Was it because of the fact that he got rejected in the first place? No. It was because he was in scarcity. If my client was in abundance at the time of the ghosting, it wouldn't have mattered, right? So let's say I'm a straight caveman who knows what he's doing, and I talk to 10 new women in a week. Now let's say that 4 or 5 of those women give me their phone number, and 1 or 2 of those women I end up hanging out with. Okay, now, am I going to get depressed, frustrated, or sad that 5 or 6 of those women rejected me? Am I going to be stressed out over the 2 or 3 women that stopped responding to me on text message? Absolutely not, right? Because I'm in abundance. I literally have the ability to get a new girlfriend, to get 2 new girlfriends every single week if I wanted to. Okay, now let's say I'm another guy. I'm not a caveman and I don't know what I'm doing with women. And let's say I talk to 1 new girl every single 2 weeks. Well, now that 1 girl matters literally 20 times more to him than it does to the caveman, right? So now, in the conversation, because he's in scarcity, he's going to be needy. He's going to be outcome dependent. And so because of that, he's going to be walking on eggshells in a conversation. He's not going to take the necessary risks that need to be taken to take a stranger off of the street and turn her into a turned on, attracted girl. He's just not gonna do it. He's gonna play it safe. And so because of that, he's likely not going to attract the girl. But furthermore, that rejection is actually going to sting for him, right? Because the girl matters literally 20 times more, not for the caveman. So what I'm saying is the best action to take after getting rejected, after a girl ghosts you, or even a breakup, is not to become melancholy and down and out and depressed. It's not to chase the girl to the ends of the earth. It's to become a caveman and live in abundance so you can forget about that one girl. And there are 3 reasons why a caveman has an abundant dating life. Number 1, cavemen have escaped the Disney movie programming. All right, so when you see a Disney movie, what do you see? Okay, so the guy goes about his everyday life. He happens to stumble and bump into a girl who happens to be his soulmate, and then they live happily ever after. So guys get tricked into thinking that finding female companionship is completely up to destiny and it's out of their control. It's just going to happen by happenstance. And so because of this, they go through the motions of life and they never actually put themselves into a position to succeed. And once in a blue moon, they have a good interaction. Maybe they match with a really hot girl on Tinder, or they even go on a first date, and they start to fantasize about this girl. They start to get really ahead of themselves, and they imagine she is the one, like from the movies. And then what happens? Well, the girl ghosts them, or they get rejected again. And now he's depressed. Now he's back to square one because he's in scarcity. All right, cavemen just don't live this way. They know that there's hundreds of thousands, millions even, of women that they could be compatible with. There's not one soulmate. And so because of this, they're interacting with women in an abundance mindset. They know that they absolutely don't need to make it work out with this girl. There are plenty of fish in the sea, and it makes them better with women. It makes them more confident. And the caveman knows that it's theoretically possible for a girl to fall out of the sky into his arms, but he also knows that it's much, much more likely that if he goes out into the wild and puts himself in a position to succeed, then he'll be able to create his own luck. The second reason why cavemen have an abundant dating life is caveman courage. Okay, so why is the first guy only meeting one girl every single 2 weeks? And why is the caveman able to meet 10, even 20 new women in a single week? Okay, why is he able to meet literally 20 to 40 times as many women as the non-caveman? Okay, the reason is because the non-caveman is only able to talk to girls if it's the perfectly ideal situation. Okay, so maybe that one girl that he talked to in 2 weeks, it's because she walked up to him at the gym asking him for a spot, and she was in a very good mood, very talkative, and open with him. And then maybe this was his perfect moment to shoot a shot. Okay, but other than that, if the situation is not handed to him on a silver platter, he's not gonna do it. Like, for example, if he sees a girl walking down the street with headphones on, he ain't gonna talk to that girl. It's not gonna happen. He's gonna have thoughts like, oh man, that girl looks busy. I don't wanna bother that girl. Or that girl's really hot. Man, I could never get with that girl. Or look at all these people around me, man. They're all gonna judge me. All right, so these are all the thoughts that are gonna go through the non-caveman's head. A caveman just doesn't have these thoughts anymore. He might have at one point, but he's learned the ancient technique of how to not give a fuck. He's learned how to tap into his primal masculinity, and he's also learned how to have fun in his conversations, in his interactions with women. He's not viewing dating, he's not viewing talking to women as a chore. He laughs, the girl laughs, there are good emotions, great things happen. And so when he sees a girl, he doesn't have to kick himself, he doesn't have to spur himself into action. He sees a girl and he's like almost foaming at the mouth. I probably shouldn't say that, but he's extremely excited because he knows that good things are gonna happen. Now, the third thing that allows a caveman to have an abundant dating life is having an understanding and a mastery of primal attraction. He knows that women in 2025 are attracted to the same thing that they were 10,000 years ago in a primal tribal situation. Okay, so he's not going online learning TikTok Riz lines. He's not learning the modern trend of this guy online saying, okay, this is the new way to attract women. What he literally does is learn the behaviors, like how do I communicate and how do I interact with women like a tribal chief. Okay, he literally learns how to put himself in the mental state of a king caveman. And from there, he just puts himself near women and talks to them. And because of this energy that he emanates, a lot of these women are attracted to him. And so it's not really a question of if he's going to attract women, it's more like how many women is he going to attract. And so from there, he can go on a bunch of dates with women, and maybe he can find one really amazing girl that he settles down with, or maybe he goes the degenerate route for a while, but you know, most guys get tired of that after a while. But the key here is that he's able to date from a place of abundance rather than a place of scarcity where he's having to settle with a girl out of lack. And if you're in a point in your life right now where you want to be in abundance. Like, you really want to take the actions to get to the next level, and you want my help with this stuff. I'm doing a few strategy sessions for free this week. You can click the link below for that. That's all for today, guys. See y'all in the next one.